Hello and welcome to a new Vanguard overdress news video. So, today we got some news, and as per usual, getting this out a little late because I didn't get much sleep because, well, I was working on that Angel Feather video last night, so maybe if they slowed down with the news a bit, Jesus Christ. Not that I'm complaining, I'm always excited to see new overdress news, but man, we are getting a lot of it very fast, huh? Yeah, okay, so I guess without further ado, let's kind of get into the news. So we had our usual weekly bite stream on the Japanese channel. We got some card reveals and stuff from it. Let's take a look at them. I think a couple of these cards we have seen before in the past, but we're going to be kind of going through them again, basically. And the other one is an alternate art for a card we've definitely already seen. So only really 3 new cards this time, I feel like. So hopefully that makes for a faster one, so I can go back to bed. So yeah, let's go for it. So we got this beautiful card. Jesus Christ, where do I even start? So this is an alt art reprint of Trickstar. So this isn't actually anything too special in terms of playability or anything. You should hopefully already be very familiar with Trickstar. If not, you should take a look at the Dragon Empire start deck and that'll kind of get you filled in. But Trickstar is referred to a lot in promotional material as Yu's favorite unit, and I guess we've now got an alternate artwork overdress rare card kind of representing that, basically. I do like that Yu's favorite unit / I'm assuming it's going to be his avatar. Is such a low grade unit. I like it when the avatars are not just grade 3 boss monsters, and I think Trickstar is very cute. And also the decision to actually get Clamp to draw some of the artwork for the cards is an ingenious idea. This looks so good. I don't think we know what the seeding for the overdress rares are gonna be, but I am very impressed by this one nonetheless. I'm pretty sure we're getting 1 overdress rare per set. And I do hope that they continue this trend of having the overdress rares represent each of the different anime characters. So very much looking forward to picking this up. I'm hoping this one has a decent market price because I really want it. Not to put in my deck or anything, I just want to put it in a top loader and kind of store it away, basically. I just want it. I don't want to use it in a deck, I just want to display it, basically. So hopefully it ends up being a reasonable price, because I'm certainly not going to pull it from a pack. It's going to be too rare to be able to do that. Unless I get lucky, but let's face it, I'm not lucky. So yeah, that's all I really had to say about it, though. It is just an alternate art reprint, so there's nothing in terms of game strategy or anything to go into. And then let's take a look at the overTriggers. So the rest of this video is just going to be focusing on these overTriggers. So here we go. Dragon Empire overTrigger, Deity King of Resurgence, Dragveda. So it has the usual overTrigger effect of 10 million power and 50,000 guard that you should hopefully be familiar with. Except this time you can choose one of your vanguards and stand it. And is it weird that I'm saying this is the tame one out of the 5 nations overTriggers? Because I feel like this one's kind of the tame one. Now, don't get me wrong, being able to stand a vanguard is very good because, of course, when your vanguard attacks, you get to drive check. So that's what you're really benefiting here, you know. It's not just a stand trigger, because a stand trigger would just let you attack an extra time. This lets you attack an extra time and drive check. So if you're feeling lucky, you can definitely combo that, you know. You can definitely get some more triggers, basically. So this could swing a game. And the thing I actually quite like about these units is the idea that they could swing a game. Not that they will. See, I feel like there's a very difficult balance with these to strike, because inherently the gimmick to them is that they are supposed to be stupidly overpowered, but also you don't want them to be outright broken and make the game unfun to play. So you've got this very fine balancing act where all of them have stupidly effective abilities, but they're very situational. See, for example, with this one, this is very good late game when both players have their grade 3s, maybe you've just persona ridden. That's when this can swing a game, right? Because being able to stand your vanguard, get that extra drive check, you can, there's a lot of games in Vanguard where just having that one extra drive check can win you the game. You know, maybe you pull one extra crit, and so on and so forth. Or maybe even when you do your drive checks, because of course anything you get from your drive check you can add to your hand. What if you drive check a perfect guard, right? Like, you can kind of see the ideas and situations where this can swing a game for you. However, its kind of downside is if you check it early game, you know, when you're still on your grade 1, for example, this ain't gonna do much. It might get you like 1 extra attack in, maybe like a couple extra damage at most, but it's not gonna swing a game. Your opponent can definitely recover from that. So that's why I like it, because depending on when in the game you check it, it becomes better, you know. So the later in the game you check this one, the better it becomes. And in stark opposition to that is Gallmageheld here, who is the opposite, because his effect is that you get, during your turn, all of your vanguards get 10,000 power and 1 critical until the end of this fight. So this is one that gets worse the further through the game you get it, because if you are at the point where both players have their grade 3s out, maybe your opponent's on 5 damage, this is effectively just 1 extra crit and power. So it's not that much different to a crit trigger. Whereas if you get this on your first turn, or the first time you attack during a game, this gives you a permacrit. And I've heard people say, oh, but what if you're on grade 1 and your Vanguard gets the permacrit, that's cool and all, but aren't you going to ride over it? Doesn't matter if you ride over it. This says all of your Vanguards. If you ride over it, it still keeps the crit. Which is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, basically I'm kind of divided on this one, because I feel like if I was playing against someone who was using Dark States and they did indeed get this on their very first drive check, I would probably give up and be like, alright, cool. Let's start again then. I don't know though, I guess I'll have to see in playtesting, right, like how workaroundable this one is, because the thing I like about this one is that this one can swing a game right near the end, whereas this one swings a game right at the beginning. I feel like if you get this right at the beginning of a game, that basically makes the game a foregone conclusion, but I mean, I don't know, maybe there are ways of working against it and everything, and of course, it goes without saying for all of these overTriggers, how often are you really going to be pulling it when you need to anyway, right? Like, maybe 1 in 10 games? 1 in 5 games? Probably closer to 1 in 10 games, right? I don't know. I don't know what the stats are on that, but like I said, I'm pretty sure playtesting will reveal just how powerful this card actually is, but on paper, this one sounds like absurd. This one here is the Brandt Gate one. Star Dragon Deity of Infinitude, Eldobreath. So double the power and critical of all of your front row units until the end of turn. Increase to double its power and critical when activated. Yeah, this one, well, just like the other ones, is absurdly good, but also absurdly situational, because if you pull this one, if you have a twin drive check and you pull this one immediately after getting a crit, then your opponent's basically lost. I'm not really sure what they can do about that other than sack heal triggers, I guess. You know, like, that's the thing. If you get this one when you need it, you've won. If you get this one any other turn, however, it's good, you know? Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like this one is very good, but, like, I definitely feel like this one is more kind of wishy-washy as to when you actually want to get it. But again, anytime after you get, like, anytime that your Vanguard has that extra crit, yeah. Because if you get a crit trigger and then you get this, you're basically swinging for 4 damage. But as I mentioned, how many games are you going to get a crit and then this in the same drive check? And remember, you have to get the crit first and then this card immediately after. The other way around only gets you 3. Only 3, of course. Like, that's the thing. That's how stupidly, absurdly powerful these are. So this one is also very good, but the thing I like about this one, just like with the other ones, is it's very situational. You're seeing a theme or a pattern emerge here, right? So there's not much really to say about this one. It's basically just you hope you get... I mean, even if you don't get your crit trigger, there's still, like, other, like, because that's the thing, it doubles the critical of your rare guards as well. But the thing is, usually most turns you're going to be attacking with your Vanguard last. right? I feel like maybe now that you know you have this trigger, you will intentionally attack with your Vanguard first, so that you can take advantage of the overtrigger just in case you get it. I don't know. Again, that's something that playtesting will have to answer, I guess. But yeah. So now we get the Keter Sactuary one, Light Dragon Deity of the Honors, Amartinoa. So until the end of turn, you may perform drive checks for the battles your rearguards take. This is probably my favorite one, actually, because it has a lot of potential, but I also think it's the least, like, bullshit, you know? Because this one is probably going to be your most consistent one, because this one is pretty good on any turn that you have a full field, right? Yeah, this is... But because of this one, you're definitely going to have to attack your Vanguard first, right? Yeah, so this is going to make it so that you're always attacking with the Vanguard first, just in case you get it, so that then when you attack your rearguards, you can get the extra drive checks for those. So that's interesting. But again, I think this one's a little more consistent, right? Because again, as long as you have that full field, this is pretty useful early game, and it's very useful end game. Yeah, basically. And because the luck is based on lots of different drive checks, because you're going to be performing the Vanguard drive check, which reveals this, and then you're going to be revealing a drive check for the other two front rows. That means that there's going to be a higher, like, average, I guess. Like, you're probably going to be revealing triggers on a more consistent bit. I'm doing a bad job of explaining my point here, but I'm hoping you're understanding that basically my point is that this isn't just a coin flip, it's multiple coin flips, which I don't know if multiple coin flips is better, but it's more consistent, because if you flip a coin twice, you're very likely to get one heads and one tails, whereas if everything is up to just flipping the coin once, you're well, you got a 50-50 chance of it doing everything or nothing. So I like the idea of there being some kind of middle ground, I guess. Again, I don't think I did a great job of explaining that. I blame that on sleep deprivation. I am literally going to collapse immediately after this video goes up. But I hope you kind of understood my point. This one feels a little more consistent, and I might be wrong about that, but that's what it feels like. And then we've got the Stoicheia one. I'm pretty sure this is the last one, unless there's a magical other nation I've forgotten about, you know, maybe one that's about a whale. God, I do wonder what overtrigger that one's gonna get, or what anything that one's gonna get. They've been surprisingly silent about that. I guess we'll find out soon, huh? But yeah, okay, so we got Source Dragon Deity of Blessings, Blessfavor. Additional effect, draw a card. Choose one of your units, it gets a critical till the end of turn, and all of your front row units get 10,000 power. So basically, let's break this down. Choose, draw a card, that's a draw trigger. Choose one of your units, it gets crit +1, that's a crit trigger. And then all of your front row units get 10,000 power, that's a front trigger. You're basically using all of your triggers at once, and as I am noticing down here also, you can heal too. So it literally is just, you're activating every trigger at once. This one I like a lot too, actually. It feels very basic. This feels like something a fan would come up with. If you asked a fan to come up with like an overtrigger ability, the first thing they would come up with is, what if it was every trigger at once? I quite like it. I don't know if there's much to really go into it in terms of like combos and stuff. It's basically having every trigger at once is good. I don't necessarily think it's got as much potential as the other ones to like turn games around. Obviously getting all those things at once is very, very beneficial, but I don't think it's as like stupidly broken as the Dark State's perma-crit or anything. But it's also like more beneficial than the others too, you know, like this one is also kind of a bit more consistent in that you can pull this at basically any trigger check and benefit from it. Like being able to draw a card is always good. Being able to get that extra crit is usually pretty damn good. Getting the front row unit power is pretty good, and getting the heal is pretty good. So if you get this, no matter when, at least a couple of these effects are gonna benefit you at any given time. It's gonna be very rare that like all of them 100% benefit you. You know, for example, if you've already swung with your front rows, the front trigger isn't really gonna do all too much for you. But like I said, I guess you are probably going to be attacking your Vanguard first now. So that you can do that anyway, so that's not too much of a problem, I guess. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, those are your overTriggers. As to my opinion of them, I'm a little mixed. I'll have to see how they play in playtesting. They're definitely not as bad as I feared. I feel like when the overTriggers, when it was announced that we were going to be getting overTriggers that had like additional abilities, I got very worried because I was like, well, the overTriggers are already very powerful. Do we really need versions that can also do other stuff on top of that? And again, I'm still not sure if we did, but I guess we'll see how it plans out. Obviously, Bushiroad would have made these for a reason, and hopefully through playtesting, we'll kind of find out what those reasons are. I feel like the reason, very cynically, is whenever they have tournaments or events, they want the PogChamp moment, you know, they want the moment where something is kind of decided by an overTrigger check, and to them that seems very exciting, and I guess we'll have to see how exciting it is, because it could be exciting, but it could also be very, very frustrating, so I guess we'll just have to see. So yeah, that's basically all I've got to say about that for now. Remember, for every statement, there's an asterisk. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like this kind of thing, and check out my other overdress news videos. And other than that, I will see you later.